Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here for the Abyssal League week number 2, where tonight got a couple Titans going off in one of our groups. Our first match going to be Crowned eSports going up against Ascentia Sentinels. My name is Visions, and joined with me on the cat tonight is Switch, which I'm excited to jump in towards the action here as we're going to get ready to jump in towards that pro draft.
Yep, buddy. Another league, another game, another action-packed day, hopefully, as, like you said, Crowned eSports versus Ascentia Sentinels. This is very early on in the season, assuming all of you viewers know this already, but Crowned eSports are already 2-0, right? They're on a great streak right now with 2 wins, no losses. Everything looks peachy keen. While on the other hand, Ascentia Sentinels are at that 1-1 mark, just about breaking even. But this is really where I would say probably around the week 3 mark is usually when groups start to form, right? You get the top of the pack, the middle of the pack, and the bottom. And we're halfway pretty much over to really separating yourself if you're a top team from the rest of the group.
That's exactly it here. So these wins starting to mean quite a bit, as you know, we are going to start heading into playoffs. I believe November 13th is what I was told. I believe that is the set date. So either way, it's going to be very exciting. Also, something to note is that we did get a new patch today, and we'll have to see how exact that's going to play an effect on people's champion pools, how that's going to play an effect for as far as what we're going to get, as we are now jumping in towards our draft here for our first game of the night, and some junglers already starting to come off the table.
Yeah, jungler is getting taken off. Gragas and Olaf, both actually really strong and potent in terms of early game ganking, but both might be taken off of the table here. I'd love especially how the jungle meta right now is actually really diverse. Gragas isn't definitively a top one, so these bans are really just aimed towards the opposing teams in this situation. And the Olaf as well taken off the table, which actually does open up a lot of possibilities. Like, I think you would be more comfortable now that you've taken high pressure early game junglers off the table. I think you would be more open to taking something along the lines of maybe a Kindred, maybe a Kayn, something that doesn't have the most spectacular early game, but definitely wants to scale into the game and doesn't want to encounter really strong opponents along the way in that early game.
Certainly here, as we're moving on along through some more, we're going to get Orange. So an Engager on the top side is going to be taken off the map here. Champion that we have seen rising for some top laners that are just looking to solo towards that team fight phase. And now they're starting to drop a little bit faster. Pantheon, one that we've seen be an absolute menace on Summoner's Rift here, will not be in our game here for game number 1.
That's actually the only way I would describe him. He's actually just terrorizing all of us in solo queue right now. So glad to see him taken off of the table. Xayah as well is really a terror in that bot lane. And the problem is, if say you're Ascension, you're on blue side, you first pick Xayah, it puts such a big question to the side of Crowned eSports, which is, oh, what do we do with the Rakan, right? But we're not going to get that question this time around. The Ornn as well is definitely the least expected of all these bans, but really I have a certain opinion where if you take away a team's primary engage, if you take away their comfort engage pick that they usually turn to, it puts them into very unfamiliar territory, and maybe teams like Crowned eSports don't know how to play without such easy engage like the Ornn Call of the Forge God. We'll have to see, as the pick and ban is already off the table.
That's right, and that is confirmed that is actually a no ban coming through, which is surprising because Kai'Sa, being one of the top tier 80 carries, only left on the table except for, besides Xayah getting taken away, meaning that they are actually going to opt into playing into a matchup here. So we could maybe see a little bit of theory craft in towards the bot side, but we're going to at least get a Nautilus going down to most likely that bot side.
Yeah, and the Kai'Sa, no surprise as well. Xayah Kai'Sa, pretty much top 280 carries, so Xayah off the table is going to mean that Kai'Sa is going to be selected here for the side of Ascentia. Nice pick overall, and now you get the Nautilus. Mostly, I would say, to take it away from the Kai'Sa, right? I feel like Kai'Sa Nautilus is such a potent bot lane. They have such great synergy, and it allows Kai'Sa to actually have kill threat in the early game, but not this time around. Wasn't meant to be, and the duo is broken up. Kayn as well for the side of Crowned eSports. I'm liking it, especially how we prefaced it by saying, hey, Olaf and Gragas are off the table, right? 2 big early game junglers. are no longer a threat to Kane.
Yeah, and he is also coming off of some changes, I do believe, when he does go in towards that red cane. So we'll have to see how that's going to play an effect for us. Also going to potentially get ourselves the lease in. However, the Rakan is going to be locked in, so they do have a strong engage tool for themselves here to try and enable some of these carries. And Renekton is going to be drafted in a quick pick here on the Shen is going to follow it up.
Yeah, Renekton. I actually really like early picking Renekton because it limits the amount of top laners that your opponent can pick up. This time around, it's going to be the Shen, who's in, I would say, an interesting spot right now. I don't think he's particularly strong, and unless the side of Crown Esports especially are comfortable with abusing the fact that you get that stand united and you're able to play these teleport plays with Shen, I mean, I don't know if they're really going to get all the value they need out of it. While on the other hand, Renekton, a very known quantity, right? Smashes that early game if you let him. And also, the side of Ascentia have a lane to play around, or a second lane, I would say. They already had the Kai'Sa Rakan, which gives fantastic follow-up for a gank, but looking at the Renekton now as another avenue for success, Ascentia have a great lineup put together already.
Oh, they do. They are looking to have a clear strategy going in towards the draft at the very least thus far. And going into phase 2 bans, we're going to see some pinching on towards the jungles here. Kane has already been picked up for Crowned Esports, so Ascentia is still having to grab theirs, and Nocturne and Lee Sin is going to be taken off the table.
Yeah, and 2 more jungle bans is going to mean if the side of Ascentia's jungler had any thoughts about punishing the Kane jungle on the side of Crown Esports, he's going to have to dig deep into his pocket to find that perfect counter pick. But the Draven coming out here for Crown Esports, there's an aggressive pickup, and it puts so much attention towards the bottom lane as well, which in my opinion seems to favor the side of Crown Esports, right? You're trying to play around this Draven. You already have a Shen with Stand United at level 6. That's going to be a big factor when you think about these plays around the bottom side. So nice stuff coming in already. It does also sort of structure your team composition where you have a definitive carry already. You have a definitive threat in the early game, and that demands pressure from Ascentia.
It certainly will. Kai'Sa needing time to be able to match a lot of that Draven damage for the early and mid game. At least on paper, looking to go the way of Crown Esports, and now looking for some more engaged tools. It looks like the last pick is going to be the Jarvan here, and this would combo extremely well here with the mid laner that was also picked up.
Yeah, Ascentia just locked in a big 1-2 punch to finish out their pick and ban phase. This makes it so difficult to run a single carry threat, which means Crown Esports are going to have to get one other source of damage coming in through into the mid lane. I could actually see either being a mage or a bruiser, like we've seen maybe, you know, a Kled. Obviously, Renekton is taken off the table, but Aatrox is available too. But no, the mage is going to come through in the shape of that Zoe pick, and that's going to provide, once again, another avenue where you have a pick that can potentially influence the Draven lane, could potentially propel him forward and lead to your victory. This is by no means is it a single carry threat, but Draven is really all you can talk about when you look at Crown Esports composition.
Yeah, it's what screams. You know, we want to get stacks. You want to get this man ahead, and it's also going to work out pretty well in their favor as well because they're on a red side. And if there is ever an opportunity where that wave does get pushed up towards their turret, Kane has a great way in towards that lane, able to take that E right through the wall and find himself on top of that Kai'Sa, you know, who is pretty immobile in the early game. There's a lot of great engage tools for both sides of the map, but there's obviously a very set and clear plan based out for Crown Esports. They're wanting to play around the bot side. You mentioned it. It's probably going to be leaving Shen on an island, but that also opens up for an avenue for maybe the Jarvan to play around the Renekton lane, try and shut down the Shen. That's usually what you attempt to do when you have someone with a global like that that's just looking to play around the bot side, concede CS, try and punish him for that here. So we'll have to see exactly what Ascentia's plan here in the early game is going to be, as they need that mid to late game before their composition really fully comes online.
Yeah, I would say so. Both teams actually have really strong scaling. You know, you think about the Shen Kane pickup for the side of Crown Esports, that's going to get better with age, especially when Kane reaches that second form. But Ascentia, I mean, they just have a ridiculously strong team fight. They've checked all of the boxes, right? You've got engage, you've got AoE, you've got that backline carry. That's your insurance policy as well. There's nothing wrong with the composition from Ascentia. And they also, if you look top down, they pretty much have at least top 4 champions in every single role, right? I would personally consider every single champion here probably top 4, with the exception of maybe the Oriana, because mid is a very fuzzy area. But when you factor in the bans as well, I'm just super sold on the composition from Ascentia. While on the other hand, while Crown Esports, it all makes sense on paper, it is going to be difficult to execute, right? You're putting a lot of eggs into the Draven basket, so if that does not pan out well for you, that's going to hurt once you get to the mid game, right? Shen takes a lot of playmaking ability, takes a lot of coordination to really utilize. So Crown Esports, they have an avenue, but it definitely is a tough road to go down.
Yeah, I feel like, just looking at what you just had actually talked about here, if there is an actual, this is a best of one. So if there is a problem with the bot lane or something does go horribly wrong, that's going to be where we just see this competition come online way faster. And then it's not like they just have Mike here as they're engaged on the Jarvan with the ball delivery from the Oriana. They also have a great engaged support that can look to roam, can look to play around the Zoe, who is also a little bit unmobile before she really gets at level 6 or before she has some of those abilities stacked up there in her W's. So there's so many different avenues that we can see for both of these teams, but at the end of the day, it's a best of one, meaning that it's just going to come down to who plays better on the day. And we mentioned it earlier on when we started the stream, how important these games are starting to amount to. And heading in towards week 2, you would certainly assume that some of these teams have got their feet underneath themselves now, starting to figure out their play styles, starting to figure out how they synergize together as a team. And looking on some of the players on the side of Crown Esports here, I know some of these players have been playing together for quite a long time, just with I believe a new top laner, new jungler, at least in this league. So they do have some of that synergy already embedded within their team comp and within their actual team, but it's just going to come down to execution, who shows up and who's going to be able to take a win here in week 2.
Yeah, absolutely, Neil. The execution is really what it comes down to, and that does lead us to the topic of early game, right? How's that going to pan out? Because we talked about the composition coming out from Ascentia. You could basically play around every single lane, right? Every single lane has an avenue for success there. The Renekton can obviously, if you give him a kill, right, he takes an inch and makes it into a mile because he's so strong at shutting out an enemy top laner when he's ahead. If you look towards the mid lane, the Oriana Jarvan combo is fantastic at level 6, and the bot lane as well, Kai'Sa Rakan, that's going to be fantastic at level 6. Everything looks strong. But speaking specifically for the early game for Ascentia, I think you want to take maybe 2 trips towards the bot side. You want to make sure the Kai'Sa Rakan is not getting snowballed on by the Draven. So make sure you stabilize the bot lane, and then go ahead, put your eggs towards the Renekton and towards the Oriana once you get closer and closer to that level 6, and make sure that the rest of the game goes into your favor. Because if it does go into your favor, you have so many engages like we talked about before. It'll really be decided by the first bit of gold into the pocket of Ascentia.
Absolutely will be something to note here. The TPs for the Draven, so it's obviously very clear that they're just looking to stop lane, TP back, have that constant lane pressure. So maybe bringing Mike down a couple times like you talked about will be the key to trying to relieve some of that pressure and find some kills potentially there with that Cataclysm on top of that Draven, who only has the opportunity to be able to flash out of it there, and also makes it very easy for the Rakan to follow it up. But either way, that is going to be the breakdown on these compositions here, ladies and gentlemen. But let us know in the chat who you think is going to take this game and propel themselves here to the top of the group, or tie the group here for Ascentia Sentinels if they do pick this one up. Crown Esports, again, looking to continue that flawless streak heading in towards this week. But again, let us know who you think is going to take it. We're going to throw it to a short little break. Make sure you guys do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Week 2, ABL. We are in Summoner's Rift. Crown eSports looking to continue flawless here after this win. Ascentia Sentinels looking to tie up first place in their group. Also, guys, remember, if you're feeling generous, donations and subs all go to the production team here for ABL. So if you're feeling generous today, make sure you guys hit that sub button. Drop those donations. It would be very much appreciated. But my name is Visions. Join with me, Swade. We're back in the game, which we'll have to see what happens in this early game. Looks like just going to be early 5-point. Nothing crazy as I say that, though. They're going in. Good to see if they can land some autos, just dropping some vision and walking out.
Yeah, that's going to be the ward to get any extra information for the side of Ascentia eSports. So nicely played on that one. And once again, like you said, just the 5-point standoff, and we're going to be getting into these lanes very soon. But now it's really towards the question of where is the Kane going to start, right? I'm pretty sure Kane's always do Raptors here, but since it's warded out, maybe he could feel more obligated to do something like, you could see him hovering around the red buff, could just go red Krugs and then around that ward. But the pathing, he's going to have to get a little creative with that one.
That's right. If he does not want to be tracked in the early game, he's going to have to do exactly that. Jarvan, though, going to be starting diagonal to him. So are going to have junglers on either side of the map. And this is what you expect from, like, we mentioned it in the draft here, but we didn't mention the level 2 gank. And there's an early ward that's actually going to spot them out. And actually, that's going to be pinged out there as well. So he's just going to walk right back. And that was going to be some creative pathing. I actually like the idea of it, but a nice placed ward is going to make sure that does not go through.
Yeah, and just goes to show that both teams understand how this game might just pan out, right? Lots of bot pressure. You want to make sure that whoever is on your team, whether it be the Kaiser Rakan or the Draven Nautilus, they're not being put behind by the enemy jungler. So nice stuff. Skirmishing it out, scrapping it out a little bit, and we're gonna have to take a look and see where exactly this Kane is gonna go. Now walking on to Raptors because the ward should be dead.
Looks like that will be the case. Probably just looking to full clear, but also something to always remember is that Kane wants to get a lot of those stacks before that level, or before that 10-minute mark hits, so that he can stack up the early stacks earlier in the actual game. It does result in you getting your forms a little bit quicker, and getting that faster obviously results in probably him going for the red Kane today, which I believe did get changed a bit. I think there was a bit of a buff on it. So that is most likely what I think he's going to go for. Will result in him being a little more tanky, more front line. But nice taunt. This might be a first blood, and that's a huge misplay, as that's going to be a first blood solo kill here for the Shen.
I just gotta talk about the timing of that Visions. This guy read Renekton like a book. Did the Shadow Dash immediately as he sliced and diced. We're going to take a look at the replay of this one, actually. And as you can see, he's got slice and dice right on in there. But the Shadow Dash is timed at the exact same time. If I could really get that. Yeah, hang on. The build up. There it is. Perfectly done. 2 tower hits. Gets extra autos on the side. And that is how it's done.
Yeah, beautiful play right around. And, that's not the lead, or that's not the champion that you want to have the lead in the top side of the map. We said the Renekton, kind of needs to smash the top lane because the bot lane is just naturally going to win. The Draven Nautilus already stacking up a nice CS lead. There is a bit of a wave that's about to crash in for us, but at the very least, it's very obvious that they are looking to play around this. Kane's going to be making his way back down towards the bot side of the map here, starting to clear out that blue quadrant, and they're going to have the pressure to keep applying it and trying to maybe even go for some of this turret plating. But overall, you got to be happy with how this game's going. A pretty nice goal lead actually stacked up so far for the team that wants to have this great early game as well. Yeah,
and now Shen given a bit of free time to farm up. He's also going to gain an EXP lead off of this because Renekton, I think he backed again. I'm not actually quite sure what happened, but his TP is down, just like the enemy Shen, but he had to back again at full HP. Not entirely sure, but either way, that is going to mean extra EXP. Like we said, for the Shen, this is going to make it much easier to play around for the entirety of Crown eSports. They want to play around the spot side. They want to get it ahead, and a man advantage will do exactly that.
And now the trading here, as Shen's starting to get the best of the matchup, as he has the favorable wave, and Might be able to move in, look to drop some vision potentially, but at the very least, things going great. Mid lane, not something we have talked about a whole lot. Not a whole lot of action going down so far here, but even CS pretty much across the board. Nice freeze also from Arguments to be able to try and keep that Orianna pushed up in the lane, open up for a gank, as that is an immobile champion that needs a bit of time to come online. 1 to 2 items for sure. Spot lane's actually starting to shove in here. This is where the directed camera wants to be. This is where we want to be, because you know at any point in time things could just blow up and you can just see those all-ins happen.
That's right. Even the directed camera knows what this game is about. He just parked his camera right there down on the bot side, and that's where we're going to be from now on. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Prime League of Legends. But I mean, even the Ocean Drake in the bot side, it would be such a reward if the side of Crown Esports can really make a beautiful play happen. That's all going to start, like we said, from the Shen. Let's actually touch a bit on this 1v1 matchup, the Shen versus Renekton, because this kill does change the context, but hang on. That's going to be a beautiful crescendo.
Yeah, the Shockwave is going to actually pull it up, but we're going to at least get a trade. Logan is going to be able to get himself in there and make it a 1-for-1, but a nice setup coming through there from the jungle mid duo. All in the top side here. Shen trying to get himself away from the dominance, but the flash going to come through. I believe he canceled the W auto, and that is going to result in a flash for nothing here on the side of Shen.
And that just feels terrible once again for Ophan. The Renekton tried to sort of redeem himself and get a solo kill on the top side. Not quite in range for the stun. Not able to get that kill. And now flash down. And also Shen has free range over here in this top side. He's going to shove it out a bit, get a lot more breathing room. And maybe in this next 45-second window, you can actually do whatever you want with the Stand United. So I'd love to see a play being forced from the side of Crown Esports, but we'll have to wait and see. Either way, one for one, pretty much around that mid side. But the kill did initially go over to drop out on the Orianna. The response was for the Kayn, which, yeah, Kayn does appreciate that, but kind of sucks that Arguments died during that quick gank over there.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate.
Oh, this is going to be the play forced right now. Yeah, man advantage. So you could actually just back here as Shen, and you're going to have that guaranteed Stand United, but no responses are even coming out from the side of Ascentia, so free Ocean Drake.
It looks like it. Ocean Drag, something you love to pick up for your laning phase. So this looks like it's not going to be contested. Jarvan just looking to clear out. And, you know, overall, you're down a little bit of gold, but it's not the end of the world here. We talked about the win conditions. And again, as long as this Draven, really isn't the one cashing out or picking up the kills in the early game, then your Kai'Sa has getting time to come online here. So Samso still able to fire him up, is starting to fall a bit behind in the CS department, as the level 6 is now available for Warcry Ligmu, but pressure just constantly on in the back of your mind, just knowing that if one dredge line hits, one all in underneath the tower, even if the jungler or mid laner come down here, I feel like that would be, your goal that you would want to try and do. But you can see Jarvan coming down, dropping those wards, but those Qs really starting to poke out Samso pretty hard here as he's chunked about half.
Yeah. Wards are not going to save Samso's life. He's just having a hard time here because of all the kill potential right now for the Draven Nautilus lane, right? And you look at both Kai'Sa and Rakan, pretty low HP, maxed HP health bars. Hang on a second. Gonna be Mike sitting and waiting. He's gonna pull the trigger.
Yeah, he is. He does have the Cataclysm. A beautiful sidestep on the dredge line. So that's going to be the ultimate and looking to blow everything. He's but still going to find the Draven. He loses the stacks. Mike trying to get himself out. He's able to flash away. Flag and Drag might be able to take him right back over the wall. It looks like that will be the case. Warcry does not have his flash to follow it up, and that is going to be a shutdown coming through on those stacks there, Switch, and a beautiful play from Ascentia.
Well played from Ascentia. That was beautiful stuff. They get the quick kill on the Draven, and they're able to get out scot-free from that one. It was absolutely beautiful stuff. We're even going to take a look at a bit of a replay. Mike lying in wait, double knock up, dodges the hook, and then there's the Cataclysm. That's going to force pretty much everything, even the flash from the Draven, but the follow-up engage was there from the Rakan, and this is the play that we know. It's a bit of a weird... I can't even express it, really. It's like, that's not where you should be allocating your member scores if you're the side of Crown Esports, and missing out on potentially a retribution kill, but that is going to bring us to just about even in terms of kills. But you gotta like how this game has been going so far from the side of Ascentia.
That's right, and also the flash was just blown in the mid lane there from Aspiring Dropout as the all-in is mounting the top side. The Dominus is going to come through at the last second here, but we have a fight in the jungle. That's going to be the Grand Entrance finding a knock-up. Shockwave is going to take down one, and that will be the mid laner getting revenge from the flash being blown. Battlestar is going to whiff a bit. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble will not. Mike's still looking to pounce one more time as another Battlestar is going to come through, but it misses again, and Mike's going to get some healing, but he has the Ignite taking down. It looks like he might fall. Warcry is going to be the trade as we're going to get an overall 2-for-1 so far in this one, and this is going to be another favorable trade over to Ascentia.
Yeah, Argument's taking a couple tower hits on the way out, but that was some scrappy stuff. At the end of the day, you've blown both teleports from top laners, and you get another 2-for-1 rather trade on that one. So well played once again from Ascentia. I think overall, towards the course of this 10 minutes, the best thing that happened for Ascentia, taking the stacks off of Draven. That really took a lot of the pressure off this bot lane, and as long as Kai'Sa is just catching waves, I think you can put your attention towards really facilitating this mid lane pick. The Orianna from Dropout is already looking fantastic in these skirmishes.
That's right, and this composition that comes online for Ascentia here, is getting to that point faster now. We had just over a 1k gold lead that was in favor of Crown Esports, but now that has slipped away a little bit, and getting stabilization heading in towards the mid game is just got to be feeling so great if you're on this team, as we're actually going to see a lane swap come through for us on the Renekton. Mike is up here trying to clear some of that vision, is going to be able to dodge that dredge line to make sure he does not get hit, but they are looking to change things up to see if they can take advantage of this turret plating.
Actually, really beautiful shot calling overall coming out from the side of Crown Esports. We saw it around the bot side when Crown Esports had the Stand Unite advantage. They forced the Ocean Drake and they got it. This time around, they're swapping their bot lane to the top side. They're trying to play around this Rift Herald, but look at this. Mike is gonna get snuffed out from this engage. The bot side finally arriving here for both teams now, as Samso and Pacey on the Kai'Sa Rakan have arrived to the party, and now it's really just all about controlling this Rift Herald. But look at the bot side, actually 3 hits for Korkisana on the Shen. Now the Rift Herald being started, and we're gonna see not even an approach coming out from the side of Crown Esports. They were just not prepared. They're gonna have to give up that objective.
That's right, and on top of that, it was actually the bot lane here for the side of Crown Esports that made the first play towards the top side. They were maybe looking to make a play of that of their own here, but it's just completely going to be denied. At the same time, at least some free plating is going to go over. I believe that was 2 plates that did get taken here from the Shen, so at least a little bit of gold in his pocket. But the Rift Herald, still being able to be activated with this turret plating up for another minute and 15 seconds could just result in that being traded back over, or even maybe the first tower. But now the Air Dragon looks like it will be going over, as there is going to be no one able to contest it.
Yeah, Cloud is going to be a nice pickup, and this is going to be a bit of tower damage. I'm really just wondering, where's the Rift Herald going to be dropped? I'm guessing topside, because we've got a minute left on the Rift Herald. Yep, there's going to be Jarvan dropping this one. So remember, bot side Shen got 320 gold, which was the 2 plates. We now have to keep track of how much Ascentia can really take off this foot. Off of this push. I'm thinking the entire tower. It's looking very good for the side of Ascentia. They secure first brick gold, get that off of the map, and things are looking very bright. But here comes an engage.
Depth charge on Kai'Sa. The TP, though, is going to make sure that they do not continue forward. Now they're looking to turn things around. The Shockwave is available. Watch out. Warcry is going to be the target. Get hit with the Grand Entry and the quickness, and good night. They try to force a play, but the TP is going to result in Samso picking up a kill and another charge here on the Rift on the tier 2.
Yeah, and this is really just the side of Crown Esports not understanding the resources available to the side of Ascentia. They're going to push once again with Shelly. This is going to be a second tower, now 2-0. Crown Esports have sort of dropped the ball in this early game, and now they are at a deficit of around 2,000 gold. It's not the end of the world. They still have dragons that scale with time, but that gold is going to stay, for the most part, in the pockets of Ascentia right now.
2K. Gonna see a Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands. That's gonna be a flash from Arguments. That's gonna be a shutdown, though, collected from the Draven. That is massive. That's a lot of stacks, a lot of gold just put in his pocket right there, as they do at least get something back for a nice skill shot hit from the mid laner, just trying to keep them in the game at this point in time.
Yeah, Arguments with the smooth moves. He gets a clean pick off of that one. Is going to formulate to Absolutely nothing vision. So that's what's going to formulate into. No, I'm just kidding. 1 kill is definitely appreciated, and you can see the goal now only around 1.5K separating both teams right now. But once again, it sort of feels like the big problem, the Draven, is off of the table in terms of that early game snowball that we were talking about. Right now, you can start to get a much more balanced team fight goal going for the side of Ascentia, where they don't have to put all their resources towards putting the Draven down. So people like Aspiring Dropout on the Orianna, he can focus on getting as many members as possible with that Shockwave, as opposed to just holding it for whenever the Draven moves up.
Certainly. And 2,600 golds in that Draven's pocket as he's going to be backing. Definitely able to grab that Bloodthirster Berserker Goose. So that's going to result in a little bit of a power spike that they can start playing around here. Maybe going a little bit more aggressive. Ultimate's going to be coming back up for him. Also the Flash available. So there's going to be some vision cleared out in towards the blue quadrant here now. Potentially setting up for that next dragon. It's 2 minutes away and will be another air dragon. But all the elementals so far collected from Crowned Esports. Shen backing away, knowing he's playing on weak side of the map here and just needs to keep himself alive. Stand United, though, is on cooldown for the time being.
Yep, absolutely right. And you can see right now, the side of Ascentia and Crowned Esports actually are fighting over this vision control right here. 1:45 still to go on this next Cloud Drake, but hey, the earlier, the better. The early bird gets the worm visions and arguments. Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Hang on. They're gauging.
Shockwave, everything is going to be used at arguments. They find them, but that's a lot of ultimates that have been invested. True. Now are they going to be able to get out? A defensive flash is going to come through from Warcry to make sure he does not go down for 2. They use a lot of those cooldowns. Then the question is what are they going to get? They're grouping around the mid lane. It looks like this might be another tier 1 falling for the side of Crowned Esports.
They did, and while you look at the top side, yeah, Draven's unanswered. I mean, the side of Crowned Esports are going to lose their mid tower because they really don't have the resources to wave clear all of this. That's going to be the 3rd to 0 in terms of towers right now. Ascentia have just been pulling out all the right moves, all the right execution in the early game. There's Draven TPing back to the mid lane. They know that this is the time to stop the push. Logan not going to be landing his W on that one. That's going to be a successful push. Basically, that tower is almost dead, by the way. So it's practically 2 towers once again taken, and that's the beauty of how the side of Ascentia have been playing. They're not only winning these small skirmishes, they're not only getting these small picks, but they're also translating it into objectives. It's going to put even more gold into their pockets. Speaking about this next dragon coming up, it's going to be a big fight that you're hoping, if you're a fan of Crowned Esports, they're going to take.
That's right. I'm actually surprised Crowned Esports didn't decide to opt in for that blue mid turret there, and that's going to result in them keeping it up and alive. Having that mid pressure and keeping that mid tier 1 standing is so very crucial, especially when playing around some of these neutral objectives, epic objectives on the map here. Said the air dragon's going to be up. Well, it is live. We're going to see, it looks like a reset coming through here from the Kane. This is a little bit mistimed as we just saw the whole resets come through across the map right here for the side of Ascentia. So they're in a great position to be able to just take this Cloud Drake if they want to, and they're going to just be able to walk in, take all the vision that was just put down for the side of Crowned Esports. This is just beautiful setup.
Yeah, here's the thing. Ascentia needs to pull the trigger now because the Shen is split pushing in the top side. Stand Unite is available, but the Cloud Drake's already gone. Now to pick up the pieces, the depth charge put down.
Oh, they found Samso. He's very low. The Shockwave, though, is going to find 2. Killer Instinct's going to keep him alive with that shield. He's going to pick up the first one of the fight. Cataclysm has already been used, as it's going to be the Shen coming through. The Dominus has also been popped. Oof, trying to see what he can find, but the Shen's going to be able to find one. It's going to be a 2-for-1 so far in this fight. Looks like Low is able to flash away just in time. Great entrance should be coming back up if they want to look for that re-engage. It's going to whiff and miss, and it's going to be the taunt coming out as Shen collects a double in that fight, making it a 2-for-2. But the objective still going the way of Ascentia Sentinels.
Yeah, close stuff, but Ascentia, they pull away from that fight with the Cloud Drake in their pocket, evening up that Cloud Drake score. And we're going to be taking a look at just how scattered that fight was. You can look at how the Kaisa is able to flash out of the pit. Not going to die from that one. You said keep your eyes on the Shen. I'm loving the positioning of Renekton right now coming out from Oath. He was able to get so much damage, AoE damage, crucially down against his team. That's going to be the Shen picking up the last kill. Both top laners really playing fantastically. But at the end of the day, the takeaway is in favor for the side of Ascentia.
Absolutely is.
Oh,
fortunately, this looks like this should be a pick going down. Do they want to give it to the Draven? Yes, they do.
Wow,
600 gold is going to go over to the way of the Draven yet again, picking up some more stacks. Some more gold is exactly where you want to funnel everything. Taunt on the bot side is going to result in maybe an all-in on the Shen here, just trying to defend the tier 1. It looks like he's going to be able to do it for the time being, but they're still looking to force the play on the opposite side of the map, and they're going to be able to grab the turret at the end of the day.
Yeah, was getting deja vu for a second there. Isolated top laner is a big snack, but hang on. This is a big play being pulled for the side of Crown. There's a TP as well. They have everyone here ready for this Baron party. I don't know if the side of Ascentia are ready.
Yeah, they are looking to take this. This would be a 50-50. Jarvan's very close.
Another
now
TP.
We're going to see the TP come through. The Dominus also very much up and alive, as well as the Flash. They're going to go in. Quickness is going to find onto multiple members. The Shockwave! 1-4! Can they find anything on the back end of it? It's the Cataclysm's going to find 2 as well. They're going to be able to take down 4. The only one that lives is Arguments. And now the Baron's going to go the way of Ascentia Sentinels.
Yeah, and happy birthday, Ascentia. Here's yourself a free Baron. The charge is unfortunately the recon on that one, but Arguments is trying to make the play of his lifetime. Not enough to secure the Baron, and that's going to be a melting as well. Ascentia eSports, take it all.
Man, oh man, the draft, we said they have great ball delivery with the Rakan, with the Jarvan. This time they used the Rakan. The quickest into Grand Entrance brings everybody in, charms 4 members, and the Shockwave is just beautifully set up. And now we're going to get a replay of that again. Just beautiful.
Beautiful Shockwave right there. You got the Cataclysm as well, catching 3 members, and the takeaway is really 3-man advantage here, or rather 4-man for the side of Ascentia. This is just Arguments hanging around the side, trying to get a pick. Yes, he does delete the Rakan, but anyone else that he deleted, it would have been a different story, but it's only the Rakan. Let's look back at live, because that's actually going to be another pickup blown into a skirmish.
That's right. He's going to be able to grab himself one. He's slicing and dicing. Spira Shojin is online, and well, that item's getting removed, and that's for that exact reason. Able to get himself in and out, no problem. 2 more picks go through, and they have the Baron. This might result in the base potentially being broken open.
Yep, that is just unfortunate stuff once again for the side of Crown Esports. They keep trying to find these interesting picks.
Oh no.
The side of Ascentia are always there to the party as well. This is going to be Arguments.
He's dead.
Takedown, yeah. That's really bad stuff, because this is going to be a free Baron push here for the side of Ascentia Esports. We already talked about how easy it would be for them to decide a game if they get ahead, but Ascentia Sentinels, now with the Baron buff, they're at least going to take 1 inhib off this.
Oh, they certainly should be able to. Closing in also on a 10,000 gold lead, just 500 gold short, but that's going to be quickly closed up as the Flag and Dragon is going to be Flash, looking to return fire, able to use that ultimate. That's going to be a beautiful Grand Entrance, finding 3 on the Cataclysm. Yet again, the Wombo combo doing so much damage. They grab themselves another 2. Shockwave this time does not find anyone, but the damage very much already being done in this fight, as the Flag and Dragon will knock up the Kane, resulting in a 3-for-1. They still have 4 members standing. They got the double inhibitor going down. They also potentially might look for the end here, Switch.
Yeah, they are definitely going to be looking for the end. And the side of Ascentia Sentinels, so confident this entire game. They took fight after fight. They got pick after pick, utilizing their synergies, and now they're looking to end this one.
They are. That's the Dominus pops, but Renekton getting a little bit low. Face taking 3 members. No, both next turrets have been taken down. The Paddle Star is going to find a shutdown, and this might actually result in the Sentinels having to back away. Do not want to walk up too far. Nice sidestep there from the dredge line. The Paddle Star just barely gonna miss, and the Flag and Drag will get Mike himself out and away, as they're just gonna lose the top laner, but the Nexus now exposed. They're gonna go for some resets and spend all of that gold.
Yeah, just a slap on the wrist is really the punishment right now for Ascentia Sentinels. They have taken it all. They have had their cake, and they've eaten it as well. Now just ready to put the finishing touches, I'm sure, because no Baron up, right? There's nothing else the side of Crown Esports can take in return except this Cloud Drake. The beautiful Cloud Drake. Yeah, we love how that spikes up or late into the game, but it's really not going to save the side of Crown Esports. They need to come out with a monster team fight, and they need to do something about all of these ultimates right now in the hand of Ascentia Sentinels, right? The Cataclysm, the Shockwave, even the Rakan ultimate, they've all proven to be so impactful, and they need answers.
Yeah, the answer is I don't know if they're going to come up with any here, as it looks like this could be the result. They're going to go all in here on Arguments.
Wow.
Cataclysm being blown, the charm, and the great entrance. But Argument's still very much alive for the time being with the shockwave.
Oh,
it's
wow.
result in his death, as well as finding 2 more members. And Draven's on the side trying to kite out the dominance on the Renekton, but it does not matter. He finds the kill. 4 members go down, and that will result in a win, going over to Ascentia Sentinels, tying Crown eSports for the first place spot here in their group.
Yeah, Ascentia, they did exactly what they needed to cover in the early game. Kept the Draven down, made sure Samso was not too far behind on the Kaisa. They made sure to play around their level 6 power spike. You saw pick after pick utilizing the flag and drag into the shockwave coming out from Orianna. Aspiring dropout on the Orianna especially was having such a standout performance because every single shockwave looked to be a winning team fight in favor for the side of Ascentia Sentinels. They were ready, they were poised, and they had the resources they needed to capitalize on the Baron, and the rest was really history.
Yeah, and I think the best part about that game was, stabilizing in the early game. Like, you just look at this, again, on paper, and you just, absolutely got to give the advantages over to the side of Crown eSports. They had everything going for them. They wanted to play around the bot side, but, we didn't see those bot lane dives. We didn't see those sending the whole team down there to try and, destroy Samso on the Kaisa there. And he was able to just wait out long enough and, just kind of lose in just kind of give up some of that CS to get towards that point where he picked up some of the snowballs, get that 200 spike, just comes completely online, relies on all of these great engage tools from the rest of his team. And well, it just was super easy for him to then play around those fights because the Draven and the Zoe were just getting jumped on and having to play so defensive.
Yeah, and I believe we are going to be doing an interview very soon, but just want to touch on the top laners, right? Because we saw Oath on the Renekton fall behind in the early game. I mean, you look at this guy's performance in team fights, he didn't miss a beat, right? Renekton still got that mid-game power spike that's so fearsome, made sure to keep down the Draven every single team fight. Now, on the other hand, for the Shen pick in general, yeah, on paper, it looks fantastic, but if your team isn't comfortable playing around it, isn't comfortable forcing plays and utilizing that man advantage, you're going to be sitting on a subpar top laner at the end of the day.
That's exactly it here, as I believe we will be setting up for our interview here. We're just going to be waiting for this man to join in towards our channel, and I think we're going to be picking someone. So, I mean, I think if we're going to pick someone, I think I'm kind of looking at Mike here, Switch. I feel like he was kind of one of the main reasons they were able to stabilize through the early game. That's at least me. I'm not sure what your thoughts are.
I'll get behind that too, because every engage was either Mike or Pacey, right? He must have such a strong part of that communication, so I'm super down to get the Jarvan.
Perfect. That will be our MVP and our interviewee, as there he is. Mike, welcome. I like it. The energy seems really high after that win. I kind of just want to start everything up by one, just saying congratulations now for being tied first in your group. And that's right, week 2. And now I kind of also just want to go in towards the draft and, start from the very beginning. Was this idea of maybe prepping like this great engage composition, looking for, these wombo combos with the Orianna, was that kind of just the plan going in towards this game, or is that just something you kind of developed through the draft?
Yeah, it was something that when it presented itself to us, we saw the opportunity to take Jarvan Ori last to go with the Rakan, and it just all worked out really well for us.
Perfect.
We didn't really have too much of an idea of what we wanted to accomplish. We were waiting to see their bans, but as soon as they gave us something like that, we couldn't pass it up.
Right.
That's true. I'll actually take this one. So I actually want to ask how the communication was going in the very early game, because it didn't look fantastic, right? You think about the Renekton in the top side was down, actually, got a death against the Shen, so wasn't looking all too hot. You guys weren't making too much happen in the bot side as well. It's not like you were shutting down the Draven by any means, but you were keeping him down, right? What was that communication like when maybe things aren't off to things aren't, right out of the gate swinging for you guys?
Well, obviously, we're a bunch of diamond players and amateur, right? So as soon as one thing goes bad, everyone stops talking, right? So, their Shen outplays our Renekton, with a great taunt to kill him under tower. Yes. Our bot lane struggling a little bit with the first couple of waves of CS. Things are getting shaky. But as soon as we get the kill onto Zoe mid, comms start picking up. We start getting an idea of what we want to accomplish in our mid game. and it just all works out really well from there.
Yeah, so really just patience, just like sticking through it, and at the end of the day, you guys come out.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful all around the board. Congratulations, Mike, on the win. And we look forward to seeing some future games for you guys to see if you're going to be able to take that first place spot here throughout this week and the next. But I believe we have to get ready to set up our next game. So before we go, is there anything that you would like to say to anyone watching, Mike, or anyone out there?
Dude, I want to give my boys in the production booth a great good luck going into the rest of the games, because it's all downhill from here. All right, you peak ABL. All right, and it's just there's nothing after this. All right, I'll see you in a couple of weeks if you're lucky enough to cast another one of our games.
Damn. All right, and that's how it is.
Thanks for the tip, by the way. I'll keep that in mind for the next game.
And that's probably a great segue into towards our break here, guys. But we're gonna throw it away. Make sure you guys do not go anywhere. We're gonna set up our next game.